Prologue uses a modeled form of subtractive synthesis which was popular in some classic analog synths. Subtractive synthesis creates sounds by removing harmonics using filters. The first thing you'll probably notice is that it looks a lot like Mystic, which we just looked at. In fact, the 4 tabs at the bottom are exactly the same. We're going to be using some of them in the Prologue videos, but I won't go through them in detail, so make sure you watch the videos on Mystic if you want more information. You can make all kinds of great sounds with this instrument. I think I want to make an ambient pad with a little bit of movement to it. Let's get started. The first thing we need to do is set up the max voices. It's set to 1 right now, which would be okay for a lead line, but not for a pad. Let's crank it up to 8. It also has a bit of portamento on it, which we don't need for a pad. Let's turn it right off. Okay, let's start shaping the sound. As you can see, Prologue is made up of 3 oscillators, 1, 2, and 3. Each oscillator can generate a different waveform. There are tons to choose from. All the standards are here, plus there's a bunch of specialized waveforms to choose from. We're going to go the old classic route and choose sine for each oscillator. Let's start with setting up oscillator 1. Make sure it's set to sine. We can control oscillator 1's tuning using the coarse and fine knobs. Let's just leave them set to 0. One interesting thing to note here is that oscillator 1 is the master oscillator. It determines the bass pitch for all 3 oscillators. Right next to the waveform selector, there are 3 options: phase, tracking, and wave mod. All of these oscillators generate a continuous waveform. When phase is selected, that waveform will restart each time a note is played. Let's turn it on for oscillator 1. Next, we have the tracking button. When this is activated, the oscillator will track the notes that we play. When it's deactivated, the pitch will remain constant regardless of the note that's played. Very fun if you need a Morse code effect for a movie you're doing audio for. Finally, we have the Wave Mod button. When this is enabled, we can modulate the waveform using the Wave Mod knob underneath it. Wave modulation works by adding a phase-shifted copy of the oscillator output to itself. Let's leave it off for this example. We can set the level of oscillator 1 here. Let's put it down to around 70 or so and go on to the next chapter.